Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Archana Solanki. Here are the headlines we're tracking this evening. 26 people killed in a terror attack targeted at tourists in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam. Home Minister Amit Shah visits the site of the attack. An offshoot of terror outfit Lashkar-e-Toiba claims responsibility. Security agencies release sketches of the suspects and a manhunt is underway. Kashmir Valley observes a near total shutdown against a terror attack for the first time in 35 years. Schools, colleges, businesses and organizations from all walks of life support the Bandh call to protest the attack on tourists. Top global leaders including US President Donald Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin condemned the Pahalgam terror attack. China and European Union express shock. Pakistan's defense minister denies Islamabad's involvement. Tourists scramble to leave the Kashmir Valley after the terror attack. Aviation regulator asks airlines to increase flights from Srinagar. Airlines waive off rescheduling charges and promise full refunds. US President Donald Trump says he has no intention to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell even as he nudges him to cut rates. Trump also hints at a tariff cut on China, saying 145% is very high and it won't be that high. Stock markets rally across Asia and Europe amid hopes of a de-escalation in tensions between the US and China. Gold prices ease from record highs. Bitcoin shoots past $94,000. Sensex and Nifty gained for the 7th straight day. Nifty hits the highest level in 4 months. Sensex reclaims the 80,000 mark. IT stocks gain, with the Nifty IT index seeing the biggest rally in 9 months. Tesla's profits plunge over 70% amid heightened competition and a backlash over Elon Musk's role in the Trump administration. Musk says he will spend less time in his government role. Tesla CFO says company is carefully working on India entry and calls it a hard market. European Union imposes a $571 million penalty on Apple and $228 million penalty on Facebook's parent company Meta. Both companies penalized for breaching the digital competition laws. If Google is forced to sell the Chrome web browser, OpenAI is interested in buying. A top OpenAI executive testifies in Google's antitrust trial, where US regulators are seeking to break up the company. A judge has ruled Google enjoys a monopoly in the online search and related advertising. The top story this evening. 26 people have been killed in a terrorist attack targeted at tourists in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam. The attack took place at a popular tourist hotspot known as Mini Switzerland. Suspected terrorists opened fire on the tourists, killing 26 of them. This marks the deadliest terror attack in India on civilians since the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. Home Minister Amit Shah arrived in the valley yesterday and he visited the attack site today. He reviewed the security situation and held meetings with Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and Chief Minister Umar Abdullah. The Home Minister also met with the families of those injured and killed in the attack. Shah said that India will not bend to terror and the culprits of the attack will not be spared. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi cut short his Saudi Arabia visit and arrived in Delhi. Upon his arrival, an emergency meeting was convened at the airport with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. An offshoot of terror outfit Lashkar-e-Toiba has claimed responsibility of the attacks. Security agencies have released sketches of the suspects and a manhunt is underway. Kashmir Valley is now observing a near-total shutdown against the terror attack for the first time in 35 years. Schools, colleges, businesses and organizations from all walks of life are supporting the Bandh call to protest the attack. My colleague Arunima is in Pahalgam and she has tried to deconstruct the events of this horrific terror attack that took place yesterday.
Asif Fauji, Suleiman Shah, Abu Talha. Are these people responsible for the mayhem that we have seen in Pahalgam? That's what the agencies suspect. The photos and the sketches of these three have been released. The photograph of these three was recovered from the phone of another slain terrorist, Junaid, who was, as per security agencies, responsible for a similar attack at the Sonmarg tunnel a few months ago. So these sketches and photographs, survivors have also described the three men who rounded them off and then resorted to indiscriminate firing. The sequence of event, as the survivors have narrated, and that's what investigating agencies are probing, is this. Around 2:30 on Tuesday, these gunmen dressed in military fatigue with helmet-mounted cameras reached the Baisaran area of Pahalgam. They first segregated the non-locals from the locals, and then within the non-locals they segregated the men from the women and then resorted to indiscriminate firing. There was not much security in this particular meadow. This was a non-motorable road. It took at least 40 minutes on horseback to reach this particular meadow, and therefore rescue and relief took a lot of time. Many of the people who were injured because of the indiscriminate firing bled to their death since medical attention took time to reach them. Now the security grid is carrying out a cordon and search operation. Foliage penetrating radars have been pressed into service to scan the entire forested areas around this meadow. Aerial surveys are also being carried out. A reward of about 20 lakh rupees have been announced by the Jammu and Kashmir police for information about the perpetrators, the co-conspirators or the overground workers who could have aided them. And the mood in the valley is of total despondency and frustration. The locals say that this will set them back economically by at least a decade, as the tourists will now think twice before visiting Kashmir.
Well, Baisaran Valley is a popular tourist spot which is accessible to tourists only on foot or on a pony ride. A 6-kilometer dirt track connects Pahalgam to Baisaran. Now, Ishan Vani visited the site of the attack and this is what he said.
This is the route to Baisaran, and this is actually no route at all. It's muddy, there are big boulders, and it's difficult to even walk on these. Even if I wore a normal shoes, it would be impossible to come here. Generally, tourists take pony and come here for leisure, but everywhere you look, there are marks and signs of the disaster that happened yesterday and something which was unexpected. Look how I have to walk through these steep and jump into certain places. There were rains that have further dampened the condition of this particular route. It's a trek generally taken by several tourists. They use ponies, as I said. It might be beautiful, but scariest of scenes were witnessed yesterday here on this difficult terrain to reach where the carnage took place yesterday.
Navy Lieutenant Vinay Narwal, who was on leave after getting married a week ago, is also among the victims. Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi paid a mark of respect by laying a wreath at the memorial remains of Vinay. His wife was also seen bidding an emotional farewell to him. Vinay's wife is among many others who've lost their loved ones. Families and the friends of the victims recounted the harrowing details of the attack which led to this dastardly terror attack in Pahalgam.
जो ये वाक़ा हमारे मेहमानों के साथ हिंदुस्तान से आए हुए उन नौजवानों के साथ जो ये वाक़ा हुआ, उस खास करके हमारे इस रिश्ते में एक शरीफ नफ्स बच्चा जो घोड़े का काम करता था, जो इसको मार दिया गया, हम इसकी मजम्मत करते हैं.
Another person, Shomir Guho, and his family also went to Kashmir, and they were supposed to come back today, but they were Samir Guho was also killed. His wife and his also children is there. We are standing in front of his house. We have with us the local people who were friendly to Shomir Guho. ये बताइए दादा कि मतलब ये आप लोगों को पता था कि वो घूमने जा रहे हैं?
हाँ, 14 तारीख को हमसे बात हुआ है, वो बोले कि घूमने जा रहे हैं और ये हमारे नेबर है। ऐसा होने से हम लोग को क्या स्थिति होता है, हम लोग कहाँ है, क्या कुछ नहीं पता चल रहा है कि हम लोग किस राज्य में बास कर रहे हैं, कहाँ बास कर रहे हैं।
My sister and her son are okay. They didn't had any injuries, but they were under shock. And meanwhile, my brother-in-law's status was not known, and he had to be airlifted because of his injuries. Later, after half an hour, I got the news, shocking news.
कोई अपील, कोई संदेश जनता से, सरकार से, कुछ भी आप कहना चाहेंगे?
मैं ये अकेला नहीं बोलूँगा, यहाँ पे पूरा महाराष्ट्र या पूरा इंडिया बोलेगा यहाँ पे कि उनको कड़ी से कड़ी सज़ा होनी चाहिए। ये 4-5 जन नहीं है, उनके पीछे बहुत बड़ी साजिश है ये चीज़ के लिए। तो उन सबको आज एक साथ में, जैसे 26/11 हुआ था, ये दूसरा आतंकी बड़ा हमला मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ।
Right, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is addressing the media at the moment. Let's listen in.
समर्पण इनक्रेडिबल रहा है। वो अपने दौर के एक विजनरी मिलिट्री लीडर तो थे ही, उनका विजन आज भी उतना ही रेलेवेंट है और आज भी वह भारतीय वायुसेना के लिए और हमारे युवाओं के लिए किसी इंस्पिरेशन से कम नहीं है। उनकी जीवनी अपने आप में इतनी मोटिवेटिंग है जो आने वाली कई पीढ़ियों तक हम सभी को इंस्पायर करती रहेगी। मैं देख रहा था कि केवल 19 साल की उम्र में ही उनका सिलेक्शन प्रतिष्ठित रॉयल एयरफोर्स कॉलेज के लिए हुआ था और वहां उनका प्रदर्शन इतना उत्कृष्ट था कि उन्होंने अपनी कक्षा में शीर्ष स्थान प्राप्त किया था।
The terror attack in Kashmir has triggered panic across the region. Tourists were seen scrambling to leave the Kashmir Valley. The Srinagar-Jammu National Highway has remained blocked for 4 consecutive days due to landslides. A special train has been launched from Jammu's Katra to Delhi to address transportation challenges faced by stranded passengers. The Ministry of Civil Aviation has instructed airlines to temporarily operate more flights out of Srinagar. This in a bid to handle the rush of tourists who want to cancel their holiday and leave Jammu and Kashmir in the wake of yesterday's terror attacks. Madiha Mujawar is here with the action taken by the DGCA. Madiha.
Well, its peak summer and Jammu and Kashmir is a popular destination for tourists across the country around this time. Naturally, an attack on tourists is creating panic among the ones who are already there and the ones who were supposed to visit Kashmir. So obviously, the Srinagar airport is seeing a spike in passengers who have cut short their trip and are returning to their homes. We have pictures from the airport where tents have been set up with chairs and drinking water facilities to accommodate these passengers. And keeping the situation in mind, most airlines including Indigo, Air India Express, Akasa Air and SpiceJet have waived off ticket rescheduling charges for all flights to and from Kashmir, from Srinagar. Passengers also will receive full refunds if they choose to cancel their tickets. Initially, airfares from Srinagar to Delhi were soaring, and that prompted the Aviation Ministry to step in. Aviation Minister K. Ram Mohan Naidu had held an emergency meeting with airline executives. A strong warning was issued against surge pricing, and airlines were told to maintain regular fare levels, after which fares have relatively decreased. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation has issued an advisory to all airlines asking them to increase the number of flights out of Srinagar to various destinations across the country. There are 5 special flights scheduled from Srinagar, 3 to Delhi and 2 to Mumbai, with additional flights kept on standby. So we don't have a number yet on the flight and hotel cancellations, but we are speaking with hotels and tour operators to find out more, and we'll keep getting you regular updates.
Right, thank you, Madiha, for those updates. We will continue to track these developments coming from Pahalgam. On that note, we will slip into a short break, but coming up next, Tesla's profits plunge over 70% amid heightened competition and a backlash over Elon Musk's role in the Trump administration. More when we return. Welcome back. On to the latest on the tariff war. US President Donald Trump has said that the high tariffs imposed on Chinese goods will come down substantially but will not be zero. Trump added that he will be very nice to China despite the tariffs. Responding to this, China's foreign ministry said that the doors for trade talks with the United States are wide open. However, China added that it does not wish to fight, but it's also not afraid of fighting. Trump's comments came after US Treasury Secretary said that 145% tariffs on China are unsustainable and he expects a de-escalation in the trade war. Listen to what Trump had said.
145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high. It got up to that. We were talking about fentanyl, where, you know, various elements built it up to 145. No, it won't be anywhere near that high. It'll come down substantially, but it won't be zero. It used to be zero. We were just destroyed. China was taking us for a ride, and just not going to have. It's not going to happen. We're going to be very good to China. Have a great relationship with President Xi, but they would make billions and billions and billions of dollars a year, and they would build their military out of the United States and what they made, so that won't happen. But they're going to do very well, and I think they're going to be happy, and I think we're going to live together very happily and ideally work together.
And staying with the US President Donald Trump, he also indicated that he has no intention of firing Fed Chair Jerome Powell. However, he added that he would like Powell to be a little more active when it comes to cutting interest rates. These statements come at a time when the president has intensified his criticism of the Fed chief, calling him a major loser.
None whatsoever. Never did. The press runs away with things. No, I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates. This is a perfect time to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, is it the end? No, it's not. But it would be good timing. It could have taken place earlier. But no, I have no intention to fire him.
Global markets rallied after President Trump's clarification on Fed Chair Powell and the indication that he may go easy on China, potentially de-escalating tensions with the country. Now, US stocks futures rose on this news, while European markets also traded higher. In Asia, benchmark indices of Hong Kong, Japan and South Korea gained around 1.5 to 2.3%. Back home, the Wall Street gained for the 7th straight day. The Nifty hit a 4-month high after it reclaimed the 24,300 mark, while the Sensex ended above 80,000 for the first time since December last year. The IT stocks took the baton from banks to lead the Nifty higher. Nifty Bank ended 0.5% in the red. Mid-caps outperformed the blue chips. Gold prices have fallen after US President Donald Trump retracted his threats to dismiss Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. His optimism about a trade deal with China also dented bullion's safe haven appeal. On the other hand, oil prices rose, extending yesterday's gains. This as investors weighed the USA's fresh round of sanctions on Iran. A drop in US crude stocks also supported prices. Bitcoin prices are hovering just below the $95,000 mark after racing past the $90,000 mark for the first time since May. This owing to rising institutional demand and weakness in the US dollar. Well, India is considering to cut tariffs on high-end motorcycles to zero. According to a Bloomberg report, the government is mulling a proposal to scrap import duties on motorbikes with engine capacity of 750cc or more. Sudarshan Kumar is here with more. Sudarshan.
Today we have two different stories on one topic, that is tax on US auto imports. So first, talking about high-end bikes, as per Bloomberg reports, we understand that Indian government is mulling slashing import duties on high-end motorcycles, and duty can be brought down to zero for bikes with engine capacity of more than 750cc. And if this happens, it will be beneficial for someone like Harley Davidson, for which its products have been subject to very high tax if it sells in India. The second story is related to Tesla. Tesla today had earnings call, post its quarterly earnings, and in that it has commented about Indian market. It says it has been working on getting into India, but it's a very tough market. And about the tariff structure, it says, as per current structure, any car that it sells or sends to India is subject to 70% tariff and 30% tax, luxury tax. So total tax for any Tesla cars that are being sold in Indian market are subject to almost 100% tax. So going forward, both the stories will be watched very closely. And recently, PM Modi had a conversation with Elon Musk, and later in this year, he's going to visit India, and we'll have to see over the next few days what steps that government takes on luxury cars as well as high-end bikes.
Right, thank you, Sudarshan, for that. In global earnings, American EV giant Tesla reported a weak set of numbers in its first quarter earnings. The company's net profit dropped a whopping 71%, while auto revenue plunged 20% on an annual basis. Tesla attributed the weak earnings to lower average selling prices and sales incentives. During the earnings call, company CFO Vaibhav Taneja said that Tesla has been working on entering the Indian market. And speaking on the same call, company CEO Elon Musk said that he plans to scale back from his role in the US government.
Shares jumped in after-hours trading Tuesday after CEO Elon Musk said he would scale back his government work in May and devote more time to the company.
So I think I'll continue to spend, a day or two per week on government matters, but starting next month, I will be allocating far more of my time to Tesla.
This followed the release of quarterly results, which revealed revenue at the EV maker missed expectations. However, its auto business posted a gross margin that was slightly higher than the estimate of 21 analysts polled by Visible Alpha. That offered some relief for investors concerned about Tesla's shrinking profitability from automotive sales amid ongoing promotions to boost sales of its aging lineup and rising competition. The company did say uncertainty in the automotive and energy markets continues to increase as rapidly evolving trade policy adversely impacts the global supply chain and cost structure. Tesla has faced a troubling few months as deliveries of its EVs have nosedived, and CEO Elon Musk's political activities have drawn protests. Tesla showrooms have been vandalized, and sales in California, its largest U.S. market, have fallen sharply. Tesla scrapped plans for a brand new low-cost model last year, opting instead to produce cheaper variants using existing platforms and assembly lines. Musk promised driverless ride-hailing services to the public in Texas by June and in California for later this year.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business 360. More news and updates continue right here on CNBC-TV18.